Hello everyone, it's Kurtis Watson back in the Outer Worlds. When we last left off, we were doing some odds and end quests in preparation for the big quest. The one where we decide to either give power to this little town of Edgewater or the deserters, who are barely surviving as it is. And in my adventures in the middle of the video, I found some interesting things. I'll start with this place. This is our good friend Parvati's home. And the most interesting thing I found was on the terminal in her father's office. Well, there's a couple interesting things, but the first thing was the Young Spacer's Guide to Mechanical Engineering. Her father had one record on it, and it said that the last volume of the three that we're supposed to find and bring to Thomas is probably in the cannery. So that is where we're going to look for that last volume, and then we'll bring all three to Thomas at once. The second one was a search for someone called Indumati, and there were two records found. The first entry says, Indumati left Edgewater today. She's been reassigned to Terra 1. I kissed her goodbye at the platform and asked if I'd ever see her again. We both knew the answer was no. Look up and think of me, as I'll look up and think of you. And the second one is transcript, note from Indumati. Robert, they wouldn't let me keep her, but I know you will raise her with love, perhaps more than I would make time for. You are patient and present in a way that I am not. The company says she has no name until you give her one. Her name is Parvati. They tell me her birthday will be set on the date she's legally delivered to you. She was actually born on July 7th. Make her feel special when I can't. She liked it when I sang to her. It was the only time she stopped crying. So, Indumati is Parvati's mother. And so far, this indicates that she is alive on whatever planet I mentioned. I have a feeling that maybe one day we'll find her. That would make for a nice little reunion, wouldn't it? The second thing I found was in the constabulary here, the constable's office, just down the road from Parvati's house. And look who I found. A wanted poster for Phineas Wells, the guy who woke us up. For various crimes in violation of board policy, including any or all of the following: sedition, forgery, conspiracy, conspiracy to commit conspiracy, unlicensed medical practice, and destruction of board property. Kind of suspicious. But he woke us up for a reason, and I intend to find out what it is as soon as I get off this planet. And the very last thing I found is I went into the cantina and spoke with the bartender, Amelia Kim, there. I asked her about the Hope, the colony ship that I was on, and she dismissed it as rumor and folklore and told me to stop talking about it, because that's, apparently no one likes talking about it. So, I smell a conspiracy afoot. But anyway, that's just catching you up on what happened between videos. Let's find the next volume of the technical guide, and then we will head back to the botany labs and see if we can finish this quest. And I will make my choice about who I will send power to. These look like the generators. The heart of the factory. The power regulator. Right, I forgot about that. But I think Reed Thompson said not to touch it when it's doing its, power regulating. What does this do? Power source, Spacer's Choice electrical transformer. Transformer status, responsive, power regulator responsive. Query, geothermal facility. The Emerald Vale region is powered by the Spacer's Choice geothermal facility. Spacer's Choice is proud to bring the colonists of Halcyon moderately innovative technology at a reasonable price. Spacer's Choice, the best you can afford. Oh, I can disengage the power regulator and steal it from here. Duly noted. So I have another option just in case, but we will not pursue that at this time. I found the second volume of that technical guide in here. I'm starting to kind of think that Volume 3 is not in this building, as evidenced by the fact that it does not show up on my map. So I don't think that's where it is. I guess we have nothing left to do but head back to the botany lab. Before we get to the botany labs, I do want to stop by the geothermal power station just to scope it out. I don't know if I'll include it. In fact, if I don't, I'll cut out this part of dialogue. Oh my.
Security patrol initiated.
Got it. Inside voices.
Yeah, this place is not going to be easy to get into. Oh, look. An open part of the wall. Everybody, stay!
Halt. Beginning security
Let's end this quick.
patrol.
Oh! Not how I planned this going.
Got this.
Parvati! Oh, that one flies.
No problem. I'll head over. I'll retreat. I'm keen.
Oh, nice. Maybe this won't be as difficult as I thought. It could be difficult, just not quite as difficult as I thought it would be. Parvati, there's more.
We can handle this. Right ahead. Everyone all right?
Jeez, Parvati. Well, this looks like the easiest way into the geothermal plant. Let's just see what it has in store for us.
The control room should be ahead somewhere and attached to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing.
We're not doing anything yet, Parvati. We're just scouting. Beat up the robot! Beat up the robot! Ooh, what's on the terminal? Welcome, J. Braden. Unlock office door. Let's do that. Messages. Spacer's Choice. Get it together. Miss Braden, this letter serves as an informal notification of our company's displeasure toward your management of the Emerald Vale geothermal plant for reasons related to exceeding your staff budget in your latest quarterly report. Please select 5 subordinates to be dismissed immediately. Additionally, please contact our office to schedule your official reprimand at your earliest convenience. Failure to schedule your official reprimand will result in an official reprimand. The Spacer's Choice family would like to collectively remind you that working for Spacer's Choice is a right, or not a right, but a privilege. Then she responded, "No need for a reprimand. To the esteemed members of the Emerald Vale Development and Oversight Committee, I hope this letter finds you wealthy. After due consideration of your last letter, I have identified and terminated no fewer than 5 subordinates who are unable to provide sufficient justification for their ongoing employment. I would like to remind the Oversight Committee that while most of Emerald Vale has failed to meet its production and output quotas, particularly our agriculture and fishing canning departments, neither of which are anywhere close to profitable, the Emerald Vale geothermal plant remains committed to providing cheap, cost-efficient power to the entire region." And then Spacer's Choice replied once more. "Miss Braden, we have investigated the claims made against the profitability of the greater Emerald Vale region. Our offices agree with you. Agriculture and fishing canning have experienced a steady decline, while the Emerald Vale geothermal plant remains somewhat profitable. Our offices are currently investigating ways to implement additional cost-saving measures, which will ultimately lead to a leaner, more streamlined, more efficient geothermal plant. Please be informed that the Spacer's Choice Development and Oversight Office has taken a significant insurance policy against the Emerald Vale geothermal plant. The office would like to assure you that this insurance policy is a standard procedure. Do not attempt to interpret, understand, or otherwise extrapolate meaning from this decision. As a special courtesy, we have deployed a proprietary team of engineering specialists to the Emerald Vale geothermal plant. The team of specialists has been instructed to refit and upgrade the plant's production of auto mechanicals free of charge." Would that have anything to do with all the robots I fought and the dead people outside? Oh, another terminal. Terminal memory purged. Everything's been purged, but 2 files are available. I had to borrow your copy of the Young Spacer's Guide to Mechanical Engineering. Radio's been sputtering and I need the reference. I returned the copy to the repair bay. Access file 2. Chaos everywhere, mechanicals gone haywire, gunfire, hearing some screams. Oh, law, I think that was someone's leg. Would like to leave early for the day. Please deduct delinquency fee from my pay. Thank you, proud to be a member of Spacer's Choice family. I shouldn't be laughing, but that is just a little funny. Geothermal Security Office, unlocked door, personal files. Chester Higgins again, that hullhead. Found him fiddling around with one of the mechanicals, so I had to write him up for tampering with company property. Just in case I'm reading this a couple days from now and feeling bad for what I've done, let me just remind myself that I've warned him before. He's always been a little crooked in the skull. He was working on some logic module. I confiscated it. Should be in my lock-away room for the foreseeable future. 87. Doesn't sit right with me. Company's been replacing our guards with auto mechanicals. At this rate, I'm going to end up a chief of security with no staff. Just a small army of mechanicals knocking about, guns pointed every which way. Company tells us they're safe, programmed to treat us humans like their own. People are liable to break down, but an auto mechanical never will. That doesn't sound right. I don't know. Doesn't sit right with me, but the company's never been wrong before, I suppose. Number 98. Worst has happened. Mechanical's gone crazy. Locked myself down here, just trying to gather my courage. Gonna make a mad dash for the control room. Might be able to shut things down. Will delete this entry if I ever return. Obviously she did not return. Greetings, Security Chief Tanaka. This is an automated message initiated by Spacer's Choice Worker Safety Contingency Protocols. A security lockdown has been initiated. This is not a test. Your behavior during this lockdown will be reviewed during your quarterly audit. Anxiety is a common side effect of life-threatening situations engendered by security lockdowns. Fight back against anxiety with an ice-cold bottle of Zero-G Brew. Zero-G Brew, an ale that's good for what ails you. Well, I think it's pretty obvious what happened here. Oh, wait. It says... Can't pick that lock. What about this region?
Unexpected.
We did it!
What's this thing? That's something. I don't know what it did. I'm not going to do anything like that again. Oh, wow.
No, 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 just leave
This
it
must...
alone.
Wait, is someone there? It's alright, I'm not going to hurt you. Good lord. I'll have to find whoever's...
Go away, Phantom.
Phantom? Oh, here's another one of those things that I don't want to use. Wait, Jeremy?
Self-diagnostics complete. Navigation systems operational. Combat systems operational. It's not the best choice.
Uh-oh.
It's the spacer's choice.
Well, why aren't you attacking me?
Hostile actions towards spacer's choice mechanics are contrary to logical directive. Conclusion: all hostile automechanicals must be defective in compliance with spacer's choice policy. All defective automechanicals must be permanently dismantled. Please allow me to assist.
So let me get this straight. You want to help me destroy the other mechanicals?
Affirmative. Mechanicide protocols loaded. Awaiting confirmation.
Confirmation granted. I like the sound of that. Well, a little bit of help goes a long way. Real fast. Oh wait, stuff to read. Borrowed a copy of... Oh, Volume 3? Down in the pit. Alright, we'll be sure to look down in this pit soon. Repair bay. Corporate just sent a team of technicians to conduct a complete refit of all our mechanicals, every sentry and drone. It's not my place to say so, but doesn't this run contrary to the Spacer's Choice mission of being as cheap as possible? Just in case I'm audited, I would like to formally express how grateful I am to be a part of the Spacer's Choice family. Spacer's Choice is the leading brand in affordable sundry across Halcyon. It's not the best choice, it's the Spacer's Choice. Just finished a routine maintenance on our mechanical sentries. I found some strange modifications to their logic modules. I haven't had time to run a diagnostic, so I don't know what's been modified. All I know is that these modifications were introduced in our recent refit. A company went through the trouble of refitting every single mechanical in the plant not long ago. Guessing this was the work of those visiting technicians. I filed a report, but my supervisor told me not to worry about it. Said the company knew what it was doing. Ordered me to forget about any alleged modifications to the logic modules. Decided to do a bit of sleuthing by my own self. Got my hands on a logic module. Time to do a little experimentation. Well, we may be able to figure out what happened with that later. Jeremy's gonna go hunt some of his brothers, or whatever counts for brother in mechanical terms. Oh, Chester's passcode. Oh wait, I don't have that. I'll have to find it. Put away my weapon. Maybe that'll be less intimidating. Hello?
Wait, Phantom. You're not real. You're not real. Get away from me, Phantom. Shoot. Scram.
Calm down. I'm not trying to hurt you.
You can talk? The Phantom's never talked before. I knew I shouldn't have eaten that sprat raw. See, Higgins? This is why you must always boil your sprats before ingesting.
Slow down and tell me what's going on.
Clearly, I mistook you for one of the phantoms of my imagination, which terrorized me on occasion. Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely not insane. I use it as a reminder.
How long have you been down here?
Hard to say. By my reckoning, Higgins has been here somewhere between 2 weeks and forever. My recollection's a touch fuzzy these days.
Uh-huh. And what exactly do you do here?
Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna Critic, Aetherwave Personality, Chairman of the Board, Galactic Defender, Sisty Pig Tycoon. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer right here in this plant.
You were an engineer.
I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentries. Repaired them, maintained, upgraded. Did it all from my old workroom just over in the next section.
If you worked on these mechanicals, you must know a way to stop them.
Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the mechanicals. If they wise up to our plans, they will come for us. With prodding irons.
I can deal with the mechanicals. I made it this far, didn't I?
You know, you remind me of myself back when I was an intergalactic adventurer. I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their targeting protocol so they attack each other instead.
Mechanicals follow the behavior of their logic module, and someone tampered with it.
Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also versed in the noble art of mechanical engineering. There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to change how the mechanicals act, including whom they shoot at. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access the behavior control terminal. Here, let me just write it down for you.
Alright, let's get back to that terminal and reprogram these robot menaces. Menaces? Yeah, menaces. Sorry, I added one too many S's on there. Here it is. Modify behavior. Automechanical behavior mode. Guard mode. Guard mode targets intruders. Select new mode. Error. Automechanicals in this facility have been mandated to remain in guard mode. Any attempt to alter the setting is punishable by company law. Your infraction has been noted in your permanent record. See, Higgins. Please see your supervisor to schedule a reprimand. Well then, we can at least set new targets? Target intruders. Any attempt to alter the setting is punishable by company law. Oh, this poor guy. He's getting so many infractions. Alright, define intruders. All persons or entities not defined as property of Spacer's choice. Would you like to modify the definition of intruders? Yes, define intruders as Spacer's choice automechanicals. Modified definition successfully forwarded to security. Nice. I hope that doesn't destroy Jeremy. Although then again, he's already set to destroy the other mechanicals. Well, the rest of them should be taken care of. Now, I'm just going to investigate a little further, and I've just gone around in a big circle, haven't I? I'm going to go just take a peek at the geothermal core, and I mean the power regulator. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. And then, for sure, we'll head to the botany lab. Actually, hold on. Where is... Oh, yep. Let me find that last volume of the engineering guide first. There it is, sitting pretty up against the wall. That's all 3 volumes for Thomas. Oh, this isn't so bad. Now, I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to look at the options. Plant status. This access report brought to you by Spacer's Choice. Emerald Vale geothermal plant operating at 22% efficiency. Power is currently being distributed to both the Edgewater Saltuna Cannery and the Botanical Laboratory. Warning, structural damage detected. Please notify your designated supervisor. Oh, shoot. Oh, good. Power redirection function has failed. Manual override required. Activate all 3 electrical track switches. What have we just done? Okay. Adelaide proposed that you divert the geothermal plant's output to the botanical lab, depriving Edgewater of power. The plant's master control terminal is reporting that 3 switches must be activated before you can redirect power. You activated 1 of the switches needed to redirect power. So there's only 2 left, and then we can, I assume we can choose where to redirect power. But we're not going to do that just yet. Let's get to the botanical lab and give Thomas his books, and then we'll make our final decision. Hey, Thomas.
Any luck finding one of those manuals?
Well, today's your lucky day. I've got all 3 of those data pads you wanted.
No kidding. Really? Well, which one?
Well, part 1 I found in the community center archives.
Look at that. Building a computing machine out of Spectrum potatoes, a primer. I'm just glad it survived all these years. I appreciate you going through all that trouble. In fact, I put aside something special on the off chance that somebody'd search out those data pads for me.
Well, hold on, I've got more for you.
Don't keep me in suspense.
I found part 2 in the town cannery.
Ain't that just ironical? If I'd worked a little longer back at the cannery, I might have found this myself. 2 whole data pads? Be still my beating heart. Oh, almost forgot your payment.
Don't go away just yet. I got one more thing.
Well, don't keep me in suspense.
Finally, the elusive part 3. Someone stashed it away inside the old geothermal plant.
The geothermal plant? Now that is just incredible. You really went exploring down there? Adelaide always told us it was swarming with hostile mechanicals. That's a complete set. All 3 parts. I'm gonna be the greatest engineer Halcyon's ever seen. Aside from you, Miss Parvati, I swear, I'll do you proud.
I'm glad we could help, Thomas.
I've been saving something for you. Just a little contraption I found. Should fit right into your outfit.
An electrocharge... Oh, probably a mod. Well, that's that. So, you're welcome.
Yeah, huh?
You know, Parvati, Thomas seems very fond of you.
He's just interested in fixing stuff. He always used to follow me around, asking me to explain what I was doing. Like a puppy, kinda.
I've not lately seen a man with a bigger or more obvious crush.
I'm just glad he's alive. That he's okay. I mean, when Mr. Thompson said he was fired, we all expected the worst.
Ooh, ouch, friend-zoned. Poor Thomas. Well, anyway, I think you mentioned something earlier that I wanted to ask you about. I don't know what it was. I'm just going to ask her about it and see if she remembers.
In the bar? When I asked if you were a drinker?
Oh, yeah, right before I got told to shut up about the hope by the bartender. Why did you sound worried?
Sorry. I know, it's none of my business.
I don't make a habit of imbibing.
It's not like I think it a failing, mind. It's just I live right across the road. Most nights I watch folks out my window. When they come in here, they might be happy or sad. Mostly they're tired. When they leave, they're mad at themselves. Or they stumble into the alley and I listen to their hearts breaking.
Are you safe living across from that place?
There's been scary nights. But Constable Reyes is right up the road. She keeps an orderly town.
Why aren't you allowed in Morrow's store anymore?
There was a kind of a thing with a vending machine when I was 12.
I also stopped in the general store. The guy didn't seem very fond of her. Did you steal from him or something?
Not intentionally. I've always been good with my hands, right? So I saw a lock on the machine and thought, oh, this must be how they refill it. But I had to know. So I did my thing. And next thing I know, there's a couple hundred bottles of 0G rolling out the front door and into the road. It's not funny. Right about then, a bunch of loaders came rolling in the gate, fresh off the Saltuna ships. And Mr. Thompson was up on the porch making a speech about how everyone would have to volunteer a 3rd shift to get it all canned. Anyhow, you ever seen an auto loader run over a bottle of 0G?
Go on.
Exploded all over Mr. Thompson. One bottle after another as the loaders went by. I was just shy of working age, so Dad had to pay all the damages. Moreau's still angry at me. I can laugh about it now, but I just about puked up my guts in terror in the moment. That's the one time I ever made Mr. Thompson look a fool.
Oh, I see. You know, I think I've made my decision. So what if these guys ditch their jobs? The man has been nothing but harsh to them. Just so many infractions. Suppressing free speech, judging by my encounter with the bartender. Parvati's father and mother being separated. Her father being worked to death. And the general fact that Mr. Thompson seems like just such a shady guy. I've made my decision. The deserters are the people that I'm sticking with. And so what if Edgewater burns to the ground? Those people can obviously find new ways to live. Besides, I've heard the Spacer's Choice isn't exactly doing well on this planet. Maybe it's time to give them the final nudge. Alright. Fighting through a quickly going voice, let's turn on those power distribution tracks. There's number 2.
Want to go. If we send the power to Miss McDevitt, what happens to the Vale?
Good question. I can tell you this. Half of it's going to get better, half of it's going to get worse. And the worst side may die out entirely.
That's the last.
Let's get up there and reroute the power.
Once we do this, there's no going back.
I know.
Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do?
I wouldn't mind hearing your opinion.
I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished.
The deserters are a community. I can't just destroy what they built.
Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow she's talked the ground into giving life again. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Do you really want to be party to that kind of hatred?
Oh, I forgot to mention, I also stopped in the barber shop in Edgewater. Barbers also doubled or multiple duty as doctors and the word escapes me, but the people who prepare you for burial when you're dead. He described the symptoms of the plague that's been ravaging the town. It sounds a lot just like a regular flu, which could be easily treated, but they won't treat it because of their merit-based system. Anyway, Reed tells me Edgewater's going to die without workers in power.
Well, that sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way.
I see your point. And I think I've made my decision.
Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something.
I'm glad you did. I like hearing from you.
Really? I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
Warning, safety failures detected. High likelihood of moderate to severe structural damage. Redirecting power is an irreversible procedure. So it sounds like whatever we choose, we'll probably have to make a quick escape. Emerald Vale geothermal plant operating at 22% efficiency. Power is currently being distributed to those 2 places. redirect power to Edgewater or the Botanical Laboratory. It may be cruel, but the people of Edgewater can still survive. I'm redirecting power to the laboratory. Power regulator in Edgewater is now safe to remove. Additional structural damage detected. Permanent power failure in Edgewater. Notice blatant disregard for Space's choice property has been logged. Please report yourself to the designated supervisor for immediate reprimand. Alright. We made our choice.
I can't stop thinking on Edgewater, Captain. I'm glad the deserters are gonna be alright now they got power, but what about the town? All those people.
We'll talk later. Let's just get out of here. Mr. Thompson.
You want to know what gets my bile churning? Edgewater has suffered a cavalcade of disasters. Plague, marauders, desertion. Then you wandered in town. And I was so damn sure our luck was starting to turn. I never knew how right I was. Just answer one question for me. Why'd you do it?
I don't mean it quite as mean as it sounds, but to teach you a lesson.
Is that right? I'm dying to hear this. Please, educate me.
You're all slaves to Spacer's choice. I'm liberating you.
Liberating? Edgewater is my home. The only home I've ever had. I put down roots here, gave decades of my life to this place. I never asked to be liberated. Whatever you were hoping to find down here, I advise you to turn around and leave. I have got guards posted with orders to fire on you.
What's going to happen to Edgewater?
Edgewater's dead. Our cannery's dead. Adelaide's deserters are never coming back. Spacer's choice will shut us down before long. Some of us will die of illness by then. Some will move on. Some will starve. And as for me, I will tender my resignation, whereupon I shall be processed and then duly imprisoned for gross incompetence.
I'm sorry about all of this, Reed.
Apologies won't give us our lives back, but for what it's worth, I am sorry too.
Well, nothing left to do but get what I came for. I'm sorry, Parvati. It's not that I'm only thinking of myself, but I'm just making the choice that I feel is right. If my choice isn't the one you wanted. Adelaide.
You hear that? That low, pleasant hum of electricity? It whispers across the Vale like the winds of change. You've done well. I would have paid my last 5 bits to see the look on Reed's face when the last lamp in town burnt out and the cannery fell to silence.
What happens now?
Time's come to look toward the future. We'll grow, I expect. A lot of workers out there with nowhere else to go.
I'm not sure I made the right decision.
The town was enslaved to its cannery. You set them free. The ones who survive the shock of their own liberation will thank you someday. I am curious. Why did you help us? You don't know who we are. You don't owe us a thing. The plant's crawling with mechanicals, so it stands to reason you risked your life.
Between your camp and Reed's cannery, yours is the better way of life.
You're not quite like anyone else I've met. You haven't had your consciousness programmed by the board. You're welcome among us if you're ever so inclined.
Thank you. But I've got a ship to repair. Maybe one day I'll stop by, but until then, good day and good luck. Let's get back to the ship. Well, here we are.
Is
Let's
this
get-
your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome. Does she have a name yet? What's her drive model? Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed of flying on a real ship, working on a real engine, belonging to a proper crew. Edgewater won't last another season without power, but that don't change the fact that I'm indentured to Spacer's Choice. Company expects me back at my post.
Those deserters left Edgewater behind. There's nothing keeping you from doing the same.
I have imagined it, but until you came along, I never thought I had the choice. I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But can I come with you? I could tend to your engine. I know my G-valves for my catalyzers, and I can keep your ship singing. And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do that too. What do you think?
Parvati, I know we've been traveling the wastes for a while, but really you just met me, and I did just destroy your way of life. Why would you want to go into space with me?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I had my misgivings about Miss McDevitt and the deserters, but you took pity on them and sent power to their garden even though you knew Mr. Thompson would hate you for it. All this time, you've been determined to get your regulator back, get your ship up and running, and cut a path out of this place. And well, I won it.
You really want out of Edgewater that badly?
Not much of an Edgewater left to go back to. My whole life's been small. I realized that when you walked into town. I've been seeing the same faces every day, the same sky, the same stars. Then I saw this ship. This gorgeous, stately lady with her eyes turned skyward, and I made up my mind to come along with you.
I'd be glad to have you along. Pick a cabin, it's yours.
Yes! I mean, thanks. You won't regret this, mister. Captain. I can call you Captain now. Ha! I got a captain.
Well, no need to stand out here in the cold. Let's get on board and get this baby installed. Ah, Vicar.
I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room.
Alrighty then. Oh, right, Ada.
Captain, I have detected that the town of Edgewater is now without power. I appreciate you doing your part to hasten their demise. What can I do for you, Captain?
Well, I have a power regulator.
Do you know how to install a power regulator?
Yes, I know what I'm doing.
Outstanding, Captain. Your aptitude for engineering will prove invaluable in the event of another catastrophic engine failure. Our engine room is located behind you. Across the cargo bay, up the ladders.
I will be back. Come on, Parvati. Let's get this thing installed. Alright, let me see. Listen to that engine purr. Alright, Ada's probably going to want to talk to us about it, so...
What can I do for you, Captain?
The regulator's been installed.
All systems are operating within acceptable parameters. I am prepared to bring the Unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight capabilities.
Alright, let's get out of here.
We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Good. I've been waiting to hear from him.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the Unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you.
I've been feeling a little lightheaded. Also, I can slow down time.
Oh, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Kelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay.
Why do I need a nav key to land on a planet?
Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lawless. You'll love it. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Kelly.
Right, the Black Marketeer.
Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get you a key to Monarch, it's her.
What's stopping me from just leaving Halcyon altogether?
Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead before you make it to the nearest star. Look, I admire your optimism, but the sad truth is you're stuck here. You, me, and the rest of this colony. We're all skating precariously around the edge of oblivion together. None of us are leaving Halcyon alive, so we may as well make it a better place, and we can start by reviving the Hope.
Fine. I'll go have a word with Gladys.
Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology, years ahead of its time. I call it the Holographic Shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters.
You want to explain what a holographic shroud is?
Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The shroud changes the user's appearance to mimic that of another. It has limits. First-generation technology, you see, but promising. Exciting to see it in use at last. Very simply, the holographic shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to generate a holographic projection around you.
You mentioned this thing has limits?
Only stands up to a casual scrutiny. Use it too long, bound to flicker, blur, something like that. Movement makes it more likely. Best used in moderation. When you see guards in your path you can't sneak past, for example. Maintain your distance. Act normal. No running, no jumping. Don't draw their attention. If they pay attention, they're more likely to notice flaws in the hologram.
I'll put it to good use. Thanks.
Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, please select a destination on your navigation terminal.
Right. Well, I'll investigate some of those things in between episodes. Let's just check the navigation terminal. Let me see. Terra 2, I think that's where we were. Yeah, that's where Edgewater is, I believe. Monarch is, I guess, where we're supposed to go. That's for something Phineas wants us to do. Oh, the Groundbreaker, independent orbital station in the remains of Halcyon's first colony ship, captained by Junlei Tennyson and run by descendants of the original crew. I guess that's where we're going next. So, while we are traveling, I think that is where the video is going to end, so thank you for watching, everyone. I've been Kurtis Watson. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.